On a beautiful blue sky day at Kerry Station in southern Queensland, Ali Hill is in her element.
I've always loved gardening. I grew up with my mum and my nan and pop, who are pretty fantastic gardeners on a property. So I suppose it's been something I've always loved and have always been doing.
Today, Ali's flower patch here at Kerry is nestled between sheep and crops. The property is pretty much halfway between St George and Thallon and about 6 hours inland from Brisbane. Ali and her husband Nick have lived and worked here since 2012, but Kerry has always been home for Nick.
I'm actually a fourth generation Hill on Kerry. We were lucky enough to, in the early 1900s, receive a ballot for Kerry and family close by on Garooman. And since then, yeah, the property's evolved through predominantly grazing through to, you know, the early pioneers of farming.
Today, Kerry covers 6,000 hectares and it's a fairly even split between dryland cropping and sheep grazing.
We've got some fairly handy barley and wheat crops, as well as chickpeas as our sort of legume rotation. We're slowly moving out of the wool sheep, out of fibre and into straight meat, so into your white dorpers.
These days, the winter crop also doubles as a playground for Ali and Nick's young offsiders, 7-year-old Ollie and 4-year-old Clementine.
I think it's a great environment to raise a family, to grow up. It broadens the mind of a growing mind, and our kids are going to benefit from Kerry especially and where they're growing up.
As for Ali's garden, while it's always been something she's done, it wasn't part of the business plan here until fairly recently. The young couple had not long taken the reins from Nick's parents to run Kerry and were riding the wave of a few really good seasons when drought hit, and hit hard.
Bit of a shock to the system when you think, oh, this farming's bit's easy, and then all of a sudden the brakes were turned on and, yeah, no production whatsoever. So 2018 and 19 were some pretty tough years for a lot of people in our area and even further west throughout Queensland.
This video, taken on the property at the height of the drought, offers a glimpse into what it was like here during the worst of times.
Sadly, we destocked all our breeding merino ewes. We didn't have a single crop in the ground. We had no moisture. We'd fed our sheep until, I suppose, what was financially viable for us.
The highs are really high, and then just dust and dust storms right 2 years later. So it's, yeah, there's peaks and troughs, and yeah, you just got to ride them out, I suppose. So.
Nick went back to his previous job, which saw him working from Western Australia and travelling to the Middle East on live export vessels. But his heart wasn't in it.
So that time away from home made me really feel like I was missing out on moving Kerry forward, although there was not much to do here at the time. And, yeah, we knew we needed to sort of foolproof the place and, yeah, make it prosperous for the next drought that came around.
Enter Ali and her green thumb. Initially, she set out to grow roses, but quickly realised the distance from their farm to major markets meant it just wasn't viable.
So we thought about what other flowers could we grow here that were obviously hardy, that drought resistance with our really hot summers, cold winters, we do get some slight frosts, and Geraldton wax, which is a Western Australian native, came to mind. So we thought, let's give it a crack.
Before too long, Kerry was evolving again, and the newest generation of Hills began putting their own stamp on farming here.
To some extent, I suppose, we are flower growers ourselves. We just trade in bread and hummus. It's all part of growing things on the land. If you don't have a passion for it, then you're probably in the wrong enterprise.
Nick says while he was happy to help with the heavy lifting, the actual gardening part was really left up to Ali.
If there's a tractor job to be done with a bucket, I'm pretty sweet. If there's a shovel, I'm finding another job elsewhere.
In their first season, they decided to plant only half of the plot to Geraldton wax, just to make sure it grew. Luckily, it did. From then on, they were all in.
Our 4 varieties that we grow here are at different flowering times. So we have an early flowering variety, which usually kicks off mid to late May. We try and kick off, and then we finish off usually late August, early September with the Geraldton wax.
Once considered a filler flower only, now Geraldton wax is very much a main event and known for being long-lasting as cut flowers.
People love their vase life, so our wax has a vase life of up to 4 weeks. If you can keep good care of them, fresh water, snip their ends, very long vase life.
And because Ali likes to take multitasking to an Olympic level, alongside growing flowers commercially, raising children and helping to run a multi-generational farming enterprise, she also works part-time in Thallon at the local primary school as a teacher.
There's obviously the early starts, trying to get flowers picked or bunched before the children get up, which she does all on her own. And then it's a matter of herding everyone out the front door, flowers in cars, children to meet the bus or get into the school on time.
Ali hasn't done it solo though. In fact, everything on Dunkerry is very much a family affair.
We can't do what we do without Nico's parents and my parents. They're a massive assistance to having the kids, taking the kids to town, picking the kids up off the bus, helping me out when I'm processing and picking. None of it would be possible without their help.
Help comes in lots of forms when you live remotely. And for Ali, growing Geraldton wax flowers and her other varieties has been helped along hugely by a very enthusiastic, very loyal and very far-flung customer base.
We're very lucky to have quite a lot of support from local communities. So it goes to Mungandai, it goes to Roma, Charleville, St George, Gundawindi and Toowoomba.
To get her beautiful blooms from Dunkerry to wherever it is they need to go, Ali spends a fair bit of time on the road. But again, the whole family pitches in, including Nick's cousin Jenna, who, like Ali, also wears a few hats.
So I'm a school bus driver from Thallon. I pick up kids and take them to Thallon State School.
So today you're not actually delivering kids to this bus stop. Just tell us what you brought in the bus today.
So today we brought Dunkerry floral flowers to Mungandai. Bit of a community service because we're always travelling out here. Everything we have to do is to travel. It's a part of it. So we just try and help out. Just make things easier for everyone.
Social media has also helped Ali to share her flowers far and wide. But Ali is frank about the fact that farm life, even when it's beautiful flowers that you're farming, is not always as idyllic as it appears.
It's not the beauty 100% of the time, though. It is quite hard work. My hands are usually full of dirt 90% of the time.
I think, people think being a flower grower is this romantic, dreamy life where you're just strolling up and down a row with a cane basket. And there's a bit of that.
There is a little bit of that, but not much of that, yeah. But I like being able to, provide our flowers to people and give them that joy.
Ali is fortunate to grow flowers all year round on Dunkerry. Wax in the winter, poppies, ranunculus and stock in the spring. And when summer arrives, she's kept busy with roses, zinnias and dahlias. A huge reason for all the hard work she puts into her business is her desire to ensure rural communities have access to fresh, farm-grown flowers at a reasonable price. Ali is adamant that living remotely shouldn't mean missing out on the beauty and joy that fresh flowers bring.
Buying Australian-grown flowers isn't just good for people like Ali. It's really important for the industry more broadly, because a huge proportion of all of the cut flowers sold across the country are imported.
The likes of supermarket flowers, sadly, a lot of them are imported, so they're not Australian grown.
And because they're grown without chemicals, Ali's even been able to connect with a gin distiller from Glen Innes, who's now using the leaf matter once it's stripped from the wax flower stems.
So when I strip the leaf matter from the stems, that's just a byproduct that we weren't doing anything with. It would go to the rubbish.
growing flowers and her flower business hasn't just brought Ali an immense amount of pleasure. It's also allowed her to carve out a corner of the farm that will hopefully help the family to weather the next hard season, whenever that may be.
It's not our bread and butter at the end of the day, but it still brings an income into the farm to assist, yes. It's really important in times of drought that we have something to, I suppose, an outlook to look back at with a little bit of green and a little bit of colour.
The kids also serve as a reminder of the simple joys that can be found in the wide open spaces. For Ollie and Clementine, Mum's flower patch is just another spot to while away the time and let their imaginations run wild.
Sometimes I will have to lose a couple of flowers here and there to have their assistance, but where else would you rather be than out here kicking a footy or playing cups of tea with flowers?
From growing crops to producing livestock and shifting from wool growing to meat sheep, the addition of flowers on Dun Kerry is just another example of the progression that has to happen on a property if it's to continue across generations.
That's definitely the plan, get that 5th generation established and yeah, keep the hills in the Nindy Gully region for another few years yet.
Whether Ali's flowers will one day have to make way for another enterprise, who knows? But for now, they're helping to grow a future here on Dun Kerry.
Ali is a very strong-minded person and she doesn't mind a challenge. To be fair, she was always going to grow flowers. To what extent, I didn't really know, but yeah, she was always destined to grow flowers.